It is an immense privilege today to be with MarkCole, the CEO of John Maxwell Enterprises. Welcome, Mark.
Joel, I'm so glad to be here. My only regret is during this crisis, I cannot be right there in the room with you and all the people that are a part of this program. So I hate that, but I am glad to be on with you by video.
Yeah, thank you, MarkCole, to give us the privilege to ask you, how did you lead through this period of crisis? Thank you, welcome.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you, Sam.
And Mark, I just want to dive in the first question. What was actually the impact of the crisis for the John Maxwell Enterprise?
Yeah, so I love this question because it has impact. And anybody that is listening, anybody by video or otherwise that are hearing and dealing with this crisis, let's put ourselves all in one room. We've all been impacted. So how have we been impacted? Well, let me give you the obvious. I have 5 profit centers. One profit center is down 92%. Another profit center is down 64%. Another profit center is doing about 23%. And then our nonprofit profit centers are down about 40%. So it's impacted our business. Now, in the U.S., where all of our companies are, our government has helped us, those of us that want it, to where I can literally say with all of that decline in business that we've not laid one person off. We've been able to keep all of our people. Some of that is because the government's helped us with a payroll protection plan. PPP is what we call it. Others is because we're taking money out. Another reason is because we're taking money out of our cash so we can keep our teams positioned for what we believe will be a bounce back. But let's talk about another impact, Joel, that it has had on our business. Never before have we been able to come together and unify about building and envisioning the future. Our particular business is in the people development business. So we develop people. And in 4 weeks, we were able to get our message in front of 25% more people than we did all of last year. So last year, we spoke to 1.2 million people in 52 weeks. This year, in 4 weeks, the middle of March to the middle of April, we were able to speak to 1.6 million people. So it's impacted our business financially, very, very difficult, but we've kept our people and valuing our people. It's impacted our ability to add value in a very positive way.
Great, thanks.
Thank you, guys. In this time, we are all trying to find balance between personal life and professional life. How did you experience this time personally and professionally?
Boy, I love this question. You know, so I travel with a speaker author. Some of you may or may not have heard this, that's watching, that's a part of this program, but I work alongside a guy named John Maxwell, and he speaks all over the world. He's written a lot of books, so he's in high demand. What that means is I do not count days, but it means more than half of the year I'm traveling with John Maxwell and traveling on my own. I mean, I'm away from the home a lot. And then now we have this shelter in place, or this stay-at-home order, and I have not traveled in a long time. In fact, the most nights in a row that I had dinner with my family before COVID-19 was 10 in a row. I had dinner with my family 10 consecutive nights. Just last night, I had dinner with them again, and I've had dinner with my family 32 nights in a row. Yay! Now, I say yay. But we might not want to talk to my wife and my family. I think they're ready for me to get back on the road and get out of the house. I tell people all the time, you'll appreciate this. I say, man, I'm a homebody. I travel all the time, but I love being at home. After about 3 days of being mandated to stay at home by our government, I told my wife, I said, I don't think I'm a stay-at-home person as much as I thought I was. because it has impacted me, but our family has been brought together in an incredible way because of this.
Oh, very interesting. Thanks for sharing your personal life and personal view. I'm just amazed when you mentioned how much you were able to capitalize on the crisis and reposition some of the activities to 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 be serving at this time of crisis. I guess the whole team was working from home. So what are the 4 or 5 best practices that you have discovered and implemented in this time?
Yeah, I'm really executives right now, Joel, because they're doing a lot of the things I'm getting ready to tell you. They're doing it well. But if you're not, let me encourage you. Your team needs to see you now more than they've ever seen you before. So number one is be visual. Do something visual. I'm not a big video text human being. I just don't really like that. I just want to type it out real quick. I've started visually texting things to keep my presence in front of the team. So number one is be visual. Find ways to keep yourself in front of the team. I was on a call just before, Joel, we got on the phone here today. I was on a phone call that normally any time of the year, I would have made that a phone call. But it was with 3 of my teammates, and I hadn't seen them in a while. And I said to my assistant, I said, Kim, I want a Zoom call. Now, I'm zoomed out. Aren't you? Isn't every CEO zoomed out? That's okay. Stay zoomed out, because we got to be, number one, visual. Number two, your voice has got to be heard. People are more interested in hearing your voice than the words you are saying right now. And so many times as a CEO, we think what we're saying is more important, and it is, but not in a crisis. That your voice is heard is more important than what you're saying right now. Number 3, I think you've got to give clarity when you can, but you've got to always give certainty. Right now, people want to be certain that you are in the game with them, that you are working to try to figure out the future. So give clarity when you can, but always give certainty. The 4th thing that I would tell you may seem a little unusual to you, but I believe you got to go old school. You got to go back and do things that you used to do. Every day during this crisis, during the stay at home, I have written 5 handwritten notes to team members to let them know that they're on my mind. Trust me on this. Getting a note from me, the CEO, which used to be a lost art that I didn't even consider. Getting a note from the CEO during this time has made all the difference in the world with some of our team members. So my 4th point to you is to go old school. Do something that is unusual, but lets them know you went through a little extra effort to keep them in mind. The 5th thing that I would tell you is be thinking about the future. Always, every day, you need to think about the future. Now, let me say this. We don't know the future in the United States. You might there where you are, but we're still trying to figure it out. We don't know how this thing is going to rebound. We don't know if there's going to be a second wave. We don't know when we're going to be able to go back to work. We don't know when business is going to return. What we do know is everything will be different. So don't wait for everything to be different before you start thinking of how to do business differently. Start thinking of how to do business differently. And then as things begin to clarify, you will be ahead of the rest of the game.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Mark. This is a time of uncertainty and giving hope with a clear vision is particularly essential. Has the crisis changed your management and leadership style?
It has. Boy, what a great question. Because it has changed my style. A couple of things have happened to me in this crisis. The first is that I became a greater stakeholder in our company right before the crisis happened. So I began to lead differently already. And now the crisis has given me an even greater sense of reality that if it's meant to be, it is up to me. If it's going to happen, it's my responsibility. So two things have happened. I take more responsibility now, more than ever before during this crisis. So I'm trying new things. I'm innovating. I'm ideating differently than I've ever done that before. So I am thinking more fresh, more intentionally on creative ideas and opportunities. That's new for me. The second thing that's happening, so I take more responsibility, but guess what else is happening? I'm giving more responsibility. The things that I used to want my eyeballs on before I let it go out, I've determined, let the team approve that, give the thumbs up, and never even bring it to me. Two things is happening because of that. One, my team is feeling more empowered because I am giving them more of a sense of ownership. Number two, it's freeing me up to do the things that only I can do, which is to create and ideate on the future.
Oh, thank you for this very inspiring thoughts. And this actually leads very well to the next question. How were talents, especially talents in the team, revealed in this setup?
Yeah, you know, John Maxwell, whom I have worked around for 20 years, he says that crisis does not make a leader, it reveals a leader. In other words, when difficulty shows up, we really show how good or bad of a leader that we really are. And so I think what I have discovered with my team, that we have made a commitment, we're going to keep all of them as long as there is cash and ability to keep them. I think what I have discovered is a greater resolve than ever before. I've also, they're resolved. We're going to make it. They are convinced our future is brighter. And I'm impressed with the amount of resolve that I see in my team. The second thing that I see, an incredible way, is their resourcefulness. They have become more resourceful in how they are supporting our business. Let me give you an example. We have not laid anybody off, but our team came to me and said, Mark, we know our workload is different. We're working at home. We know typically in the month of March or April, we take a spring break with our family. Can we take up to 5 days off unpaid to help the company's bottom line? Now that's the company, the team, wanting to be a part of the solution. And I'm proud of them. I'm thankful for that. So they have been resourceful. And then the final thing that I would tell you is they're resilient. They're extremely resilient in believing that no matter how bad this crisis is, we will be still standing when the company, the world begins to come back. We will still be standing. And so I really am seeing a resilience in them like I've never seen before.
Wow, it's very. My next question is: we are with the team connected emotionally, and what value did you rely on with your team?
What values?
What values did you rely on?
Yeah. So probably, you know, I wish I had it here, and I meant to bring it over here. I switched locations right before because the sun was coming in. But we have a values card that has 7 of our company and personal values on it. And I won't give you the whole list, but there's 2 of them called growth. And what that means to us is we need to always be growing beyond what we were yesterday. So in our business performance, we use growth analysis more than we use goal analysis. We use comparative examples more than we use objective or futuristic metrics. And so growth has been really important to us from a value. The other thing that for us has been is production. Now, production for us means that we exceed expectations. So to your question, what values have we really demonstrated during this time? Have we really relied on? As I already told you early on, our business performance is down drastically. We are way off of where we were last year, last month, and compared to our budget. So how are we going to model as an organization growth and production when we are not producing, nobody wants to buy, and we're not growing? We're down 60%. So I told our team, our leadership team, I said, we are violating two of our values if we keep trying to measure our business based on what we started at the beginning of the year, trying to produce. So rather than give up our values, I'll tell you what I want you to do. I want you to tear up this year's budget and throw it in the trash can. We're not going to hit it. Go ahead and get used to it. And I want you to come up with a 75-day budget that you know your division, your team will be able to hit. And we're going to hit that, and then we're going to start growing from that, and we're going to start producing, exceeding expectations to that. So here's my question to myself as well as all of our CEOs that's viewing this. Are your values more important than your bottom line, or is your bottom line more important than your values? For us, we decided that our produced or our projected bottom line wasn't worth the paper it was printed on. We threw it in the trash so that we could continue living out our values.
Wow, thank you, Mark. Joel?
Yeah, just before we go, what are the two keywords that you will give as an advice for a CEO or general manager in the time of crisis?
Two words, and I love this question because it's two words that have been my word of the year the last 2 years. Every year I have a word for the year. And somebody asked me today, they said, what are you discovering in this crisis? And I said, how important the last 2 years my words have been. Here's my words, and they're the words I would leave with you that's watching today. One is wisdom. We need to have wisdom before we act. So many times as a CEO, it's how quick we can make the decisions, how quickly we can determine what the next step is. And I'm going to tell you, in a time of crisis, wisdom is more important than expediency. Use wisdom. The second word is lead. Never before, lead, the word lead. Never before have we been leading at a time to where we as leaders were so reactive rather than proactive. I'm used to being a proactive leader. I see more and I see before everybody else. That's what leaders do. But not right now. We're seeing after and we're seeing later than others. So because of that, and governments are shutting down and economies are shutting down and cities and towns are shutting down, we as leaders are in a place of reactivity more than we've ever been before. We react. Yet we still got to lead. And I've seen way too many leaders that think, well, since I'm not in control anymore, I'm just going to wait until I get control and then lead. And I will tell you that's a mistake. You need to lead with wisdom, but you need to be leading now more than at any other time.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We learn a lot, and thank you for add value to us and to other people who will listen to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Mark, for your authenticity and all the personal and business information you shared, and I think it will be very useful for many. Thanks so much.
Thank you.